water, and the water will continue to rise for the next few hours. Expected to not be of too much danger to us, but it's continually will be coming in. Now, we're going to get the leading edge of the hurricane, and that certainly is going to bring with it winds of 100 to 120 miles an hour and a huge storm surge. Galveston felt the wrath of Ike early on. Huge waves crashing on shore and moving inland. Homes along the Gulf were hit hard, some already underwater. Early this morning, the seawall was getting thrashed by huge waves, enough to frighten even longtime residents who have gone through many storms.
No, I didn't think it would be this bad, but, you know, you got the bay backing up, you got the ocean, Gulf, so... Well, yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you get a Category 2, Category 3 hurricane. So
you're getting out, you have everything.
I've got all my stuff in the truck and I'm gone.
These are the people that did not evacuate and had to be rescued. A man and his dog moved out of some of the flooded areas in Galveston. The waters moved quickly, many streets underwater. Nick Samaniego from the American Red Cross in Los Angeles is here, waiting to move in to help the people that need it.
The biggest challenge is getting all the resources and the volunteers and relief workers in place ahead of time so that we're staged and ready to go as soon as the storm passes and we can start getting out and feeding people in hard-hit areas.
Up to 60,000 residents from the island are headed out through much of the day. Galveston could get a direct hit, and if Ike stays on its projected path, the storm could head up to Houston through the ship channel and through Galveston Bay.
I've never seen anything quite like it.
Ginger Gritius is from San Leon, Texas, and her home and business are right along the water. She evacuated to a hotel and now stares across Nassau Bay, wondering if it will all be there when she returns.
I just built it. It's not even a year old. It's spent over $1 million on this place, and to think that it might not make it, you know, it's very nerve-wracking. It's everything I own.
And back live now, you can see there what it is doing to the boardwalk here in Nassau Bay. It has been torn apart by the strong wind and basically the waves that keep crashing on shore. Now, this storm is certainly making people here very nervous. It is so big that it actually will affect the entire coast of Texas all the way to Louisiana. That's why everyone we spoke with today is getting ready. This is something that people here are taking very seriously today here along the Gulf shore of Texas. Reporting live from Nassau Bay, I'm Carlos Granda, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Well, we heard that warning yesterday, Carlos, to evacuate or face certain deaths. So it begs the question, what are you going to do when the storm hits?
Well, as you can see, we're pretty high up. This is actually quite high ground here in Nassau Bay. Even though this bay is right next to us, we're actually on high ground. Do not expect, at least that's what they're telling us, that has not happened before, do not expect this water to affect us. We will be in a concrete hotel. It's a very strong reinforced hotel that has survived many hurricanes. That's what we're doing to stay safe. But of course, anything could happen in these hurricanes. It could always shift a little bit, change a little bit. So everyone is going to be up all night. Very few of us are going to get any sleep tonight, as we're going to be watching this to see what we have to do until we're probably safe sometime tomorrow morning.
All right, Carlos Granda reporting from Nassau, Texas, Nassau Bay, Texas. We look forward to your further reports. Stay safe. And it's a nightmare scenario. That's what Homeland Security Chief Michael Chertoff is warning if Hurricane Ike stays on its projected path. Late today, he tried to assure residents the government at all levels is prepared to help.
FEMA's federally coordinated support to the states of Texas and Louisiana is working. We have planned it together, we have rehearsed it together, and we are prepared to execute this together.
South Texas residents getting out of harm's way has not been easy. Near Galveston, these two lucky dogs made it out of the storm's path today, rescued by folks on jet skis. The animals were handed over to officials for safekeeping. Emergency operators plan to continue their rescue efforts as long as the weather permits.
So where is that storm right now, and when is it going to hit? Let's check in now with Dallas Raines.
Thanks, David. Well, Hurricane Ike is a Category 2 storm with winds now at about 105 miles per hour. So it is a strong hurricane, but it's not a super hurricane by any stretch of the imagination. The eye can be seen now making its way toward the Galveston Bay area. That's the eye of the storm right there. And it should be crossing the coastline sometime between midnight, about 3 o'clock local time. So again, this storm system is big. That's one thing about it. When you talk about how big the storm is, it does have a quite expansive hurricane force wind field, which means it's out probably about 150 miles from the center. Hurricane force winds and then tropical storm force winds are way on out about 200 miles. So there's the eye. You can see it right now. And right around the edge of the eye here in the northeast quadrant of the storm, that's where the biggest storm surge will be. And the storm surge, we talk about that as the hurricane moves through the Gulf of Mexico. It piles up water right along the right-hand quadrant of the eye itself. And once the eye moves on shore, there will be a surge of water with waves that will roll into that area, and that's what they're most concerned about for the low-lying areas. So you can see the eye here. It's making its way toward Galveston, Texas. Should arrive sometime late tonight with winds of about 100 miles per hour. Category 2, but a significant storm surge, maybe 15 or 20 feet. I'll have more on that and our local weather coming up for the weekend in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dallas, and stay with ABC7 for continuing coverage of Hurricane Ike. Dallas will join us throughout the newscast, and we'll bring you another live report from Texas coming up at 4:30.
Other news on this Friday, an 18-year-old man accused of killing 4 Lancaster family members has been charged with murder. Corey King appeared before a judge this afternoon. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Starworth joins us live in Lancaster with more on the suspect and why he's a person of interest in another crime. Leo?
Well, when Corey King faced a judge here at the Antelope Valley Courthouse, his arraignment was postponed. He entered no plea. Prosecutors say King is charged with multiple counts of capital murder with special circumstances. Prosecutors say the killings he's accused of a Lancaster family are so brutal and absolutely savage that this case is and deserves to be nothing short of a death penalty case. 18-year-old Corey King went before a judge in Lancaster facing 4 counts of murder in the brutal beating, strangling, and stabbing deaths of 42-year-old Sonia Dorfield and her 3 daughters, ages 8, 12, and 14.
I will confirm that this was an awful crime, an awful, unimaginable crime, followed by an arson in an attempt to burn their bodies.
On the heels of the gruesome discovery of the victims' bodies found in their burned Lancaster home 4 days ago, last night, Eyewitness News broke another startling discovery possibly linked to King. Homicide detectives say they have reason to believe he could possibly be connected to the murder of 90-year-old Evelyn Mosley, whose body was found in her burned Altadena home in May. At the moment, authorities say King is being investigated as a person of interest in that killing. Detectives say the suspect knew all the victims and was considered a friend who frequented their homes. Close friends of Corey King are shocked and puzzled.
I think that it was drugs because that ain't the Corey that I know. Like, Corey was a real cool person and his mom passed away, and like whenever I used to argue with my mom personally, he used to be like, you only get one mom. And I ain't trying to sugarcoat it and make it seem like if Corey didn't do it, but if he did, that wasn't Corey. It was like drugs or something because Corey was a cool person.
Detectives haven't disclosed the motive in the murders of the Lancaster family. Family members of the victims say seeing Corey King in court was extremely difficult.
My thoughts were anger. I couldn't even compose myself. I just wanted to just, I'm just speechless. Just speechless.
Corey King's arraignment has been postponed until early next month. Live at the Antelope Valley Courthouse, Leo Starr with ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Leo, thank you for that report. A family tragedy in the Watts area where a 3-year-old boy died after becoming trapped in the power window of his family's van. Eyewitness News reporter Leslie Sykes is live in Watts where the little boy lost his life despite a father's desperate effort to save him. Leslie.
You're right, David. It is so heartbreaking. The father rushed his son from the apartment complex you see behind me over here to the fire station to see if his son could be saved, but the trauma was just too great, and now the family is suffering a great loss. Child safety experts today are urging parents to take note. Investigators look inside this Ford Windstar van. 3-year-old Arturo Campos was playing here when his father stepped away to make a phone call. When he returned, he found the boy stuck in the window. Child safety advocates have been warning people for years. Automatic windows have the power to kill. The group kidsandcars.org shows the dangers in this video.
Don't leave your child alone in a car, because this can do this to this and this and this.
Dr. Jeffrey Upperman is director of trauma for Children's Hospital Los Angeles. He says accidents like this one are not uncommon.
You never know, and the smaller the child, and if they're walking and talking and they're moving, they look the other way and the child is in harm's way.
The toddler switches are easily activated when a child kneels on an armrest. The auto industry is looking into safeguards, but new regulations are at least a year away. Dr. Upperman says prevention is key.
parents need to pay attention to their children. Sounds like a simple piece of advice, but never leave a young child in a car by themselves. Always have to have a monitor, keep them away from open windows, cars that are running. Make sure that you're around the home. Don't have them behind the car. You need to identify where they are and make sure that you can see them at all times.
And child safety experts are behind a push to install automatic reverse sensors in cars, but car makers are working on a new switch design, but that will not come to fruition until next year. Reporting live in Watts, Leslie Sykes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Leslie, terribly sad. Another sad story here. Local broadcasting legend George Putnam has passed away. Putnam died this morning in a hospital in Chino. Putnam started his career in radio and then switched to television. And from the 1950s until 1975, he anchored the news at 4 different stations. He was especially famous for his conservative commentaries, which generated a strong response from all sides on any issue. Putnam later returned to radio and wrote a newspaper column. George Putnam was 94 years old.
A new warning tonight about a traveling salesman.
A local woman was robbed right before her eyes. We'll tell you what the suspect got away with and how, coming up in a live report.
There are some new benefits to yoga. It can not only help you look and feel good, it may help you fight off a common medical problem that could affect people later in life.
Also keeping a close eye on Hurricane Ike as our Dallas Range tracks it on our live Doppler 7000 HD radar. Live report and Dallas forecast is still ahead. And Michelle Tuzzi at 5.
Even if I die, I will love you.
A woman helps grieving war widows overcome their pain, how she's empowering them to use their loss to help others. Plus, looking for something to do this weekend and not spend a dime? ABC7 on your side with Friday Freebie at 5.
Wiener Schnitzel, the world's most wanted wiener, is taking one of your favorites to new heights with a low, low price. Just $1.49 featured chili cheese fries fix. But not for long. Hurry in.
California's leading environmental groups all oppose Proposition 7 because it's deeply flawed. It effectively eliminates small renewable energy producers.
I went into the solar energy business 32 years ago for all the right reasons. And now Proposition 7 threatens my business for all the wrong reasons. Prop 7 could cost California thousands of good green jobs.
Join California's leading environmental groups and vote no on Prop 7.
There are plenty of lawyers out there, believe me. So where do you go to find the one that's right for you? The phone book? A friend, maybe. For the right lawyer for your specific needs, there's only one place to go. Lawyers.com.
Lawyers.com offers exclusive Martin Del Hubble peer review ratings and reliable lawyer profiles to help you find the expertise you need right in your area.
If you need a lawyer, you've got options. Find the help that's right for you at Lawyers.com.
ABC7 invites all students to participate in the City of LA's Latino Heritage Month poster contest, celebrating a mosaic of cultures. For more info, go to abc7.com.
Nice. Thank you. What are you doing?
What, I can't have a fry?
I thought you said you weren't hungry.
I'm starving. All my money's been going to the cable bill lately.
Hey, you should get an AT&T bundle. My rate is so low, I never have to skip a meal.
What? Why not? Guess you won't be needing this burger.
Get home phone with unlimited long distance and high-speed internet for under $60 a month. That's not an introductory price.
Republican presidential candidate John McCain today again defended his choice of Sarah Palin as his running mate. Senator McCain was a guest on The View, seen here on ABC7. McCain said he's very happy with Alaska Governor Palin's qualifications and readiness to serve. He acknowledged that they sometimes have different views, but said she's ignited a spark in America. McCain also spoke about his religious beliefs.
We should respect the views of those who believe in God and believe that we are a special nation, and it's a special world, and we believe that God does play a role, not in whether we win or lose elections, but whether we have a better world and a better future and better lives.
McCain says everyone is entitled to individual faiths, even if they don't believe in a God.
McCain's Democratic opponent, Barack Obama, also spent the day getting his views in front of voters. Obama was in New Hampshire today. His appearance follows the release of an Obama TV ad that attacked Senator McCain as an out-of-touch, out-of-date candidate. Obama also today made another call for national health care.
I meet families all the time that are making decisions about marriage, they're making decisions about living arrangements, about careers, just based on whether or not they can get health care.
Obama went on to say the United States is a wealthy enough nation and everyone should have access to health care.
We're following the latest developments surrounding celebrity fashion designer Anand John. He's going before a judge to face multiple sex crimes charges. Find out what punishment he could face if convicted.
And let's take you live outside to Burbank. Dallas is up next with the live Megadoppler 7000 HT forecast.
Save the planet, save your money. Tonight, hybrids, not just hip, they can also save you cash, but
some will save you thousands of dollars, some won't save you anything.
Eyewitness News teams up with Consumer Reports to find the best. Tonight at 11 on ABC-7.
People all over Southern California are dropping into San Manuel. One reason is to play our over 3,500 slot machines. San Manuel now has hundreds of additional machines. With a remodeled second floor and dedicated areas for non-smoking, penny slots, and classic machines, San Manuel is now more than ever a slot lover's paradise. San Manuel Indian Bingo and Casino. Close by, so drop in anytime. New 210 freeway to San Bernardino.
Why can't we ever agree on what to eat?
Check it, yo. I got pasta perfecta from Domino's.
What are you?
5 varieties of oven fresh yum. The whole family's down. We're all getting some.
This is tight.
Pasta dude. Pasta dude, yeah.
Mom.
Pasta player hater.
Introducing Domino's Pasta Perfecta. 5 savory selections like Italian sausage marinara, chicken carbonara, and pasta primavera. Domino's, you got 30 minutes.
Yes, I am a real Koi customer. This is really my house. This is really my sofa that they clean. They've done a great job.
Right now, save 35% on all carpet, drapery, upholstery, air duct, and tile and grout cleaning.
Call for Coit. This ABC-7 Eyewitness Newscast is brought to you in part by your California Chrysler dealers.
It's time to get ready for fall during the Shop Till You Drive clearance event at your Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep dealers. We're taking up to 40% off MSRP on 08 Rams to make room for new arrivals. Get great markdowns in every department, like up to 22% off MSRP on our fashionable minivans. And check out our great selection of fuel-efficient vehicles. Find your perfect fit at the Shop Till You Drive clearance event. Hurry, these offers won't last.
Meteorologist Dallas Raines is certified by the American Meteorological Society.
All right, let's take you live to Corpus Christi, Texas. There you see the surf really chopped up thanks to Hurricane Ike. Now, Corpus is a long way south of Galveston, where Carlos Granda reported he's live from. But keep in mind, there are hurricane warnings 400 miles from Corpus Christi, actually south of Corpus Christi, all the way through parts of Louisiana. So a lot of that area is really getting nailed right now.
That's some scary looking water. Take a look at this video in Galveston now as residents prepare for Hurricane Ike. A massive boat warehouse burned, filling the sky with thick black smoke. Firefighters had a tough time getting to it because several roads were completely underwater. What a mess. There's also concern the fire could spread to 2 500-gallon diesel fuel tanks in the boatyard. And so far that hasn't happened. The cause of the fire remains under investigation.
Wow. Well, you know, the storm, we were just talking about it. I've seen a lot of hurricanes. This hurricane is not that intense of a hurricane, but its wind field, how wide the hurricane force winds are, is enormous. It's out there at about 200 miles from the center, and then over 200 miles for the tropical storm force wind. So Ike is a big storm, and this is kind of look at what the storm surge looks a little bit like. Right near the eye of the storm, particularly in the northeast quadrant. As the storm moves along through the Gulf of Mexico, David, it actually lifts the sea level. And the winds blow on top of that, so you have like a 15 to 20 foot storm surge with waves on top of that. So that's what they're most concerned about right at the coastal zones there. All right, let's go outside right now. Check out live Megadoppler 7000 HD, and you can see the eye. I mean, it perfectly shows up on that gorgeous live Megadoppler 7000 HD radar system. And there's Galveston, Texas right there, and there's the eye of the storm. Again, not a really tight eye that you might see if it were a Category 4 or 5 storm, where it would be really tiny, very symmetrical, with powerful winds around the center. But believe me, these are powerful enough. Winds about 100 miles per hour in this quadrant right here. And the storm is going to make its way right over Galveston Bay. And as it does, it will have that storm surge with it. So that would be the elevated sea level and waves that will kind of approach that area. That will occur probably between midnight and 3 a.m. So it's getting battered right now. But the worst is yet to come as that eye makes its way into Houston later on tonight. Here's a beautiful satellite view of it. This is an infrared satellite photograph, and we've color enhanced, showing the coldest cloud tops right there when I talked about the east and northeastern quadrant of the storm. And when that rolls into the area, that's when you see the strongest winds and the biggest storm surge. So the eye's still offshore about 100 miles. And it'll be midnight or so local time to 3 o'clock in the morning before it really gets going through there. LAX now looking at cloudy skies. Wow, today the marine layer was thick and it never broke up until about 3 this afternoon. 73 degrees right now, sun trying to come through. Here's the satellite view. Look how thick the marine layer was this morning. Wow, kind of a surprise. I knew we'd have the marine layer in, but I thought it would burn off maybe 10, 11 o'clock. It just hasn't done it. And as we zoom in tonight, you can see much of Orange County from Huntington Beach, still cloudy. You got to get on over into Riverside this afternoon where you can see the clearing skies. Clear tonight in Riverside, cloudy in Mission Viejo. Overnight lows tonight on the cool side. It's going to feel good outside. 62 Huntington Beach, 62 downtown LA, and Simi Valley at 60 degrees. For tomorrow, for you Saturday, I've knocked down the temperatures some. That's the good news. I thought it'd be hotter tomorrow, but we're going to keep the low clouds in around the downtown area, maybe inland for just a little bit too, and that will keep it from getting too hot. Anaheim, you'll have some clouds tomorrow morning. 89 out at Riverside tomorrow. That's not bad at all. Down about 5 to 8 degrees from what I had this time yesterday. So the good news is tomorrow is not going to be as hot as I thought it would be. So Saturday looks like a pretty good day. Some low clouds, 77 downtown. Then we'll start warming up on Sunday, and I think Monday now will be the hottest day of the next 7-day period. So we'll get out of the weekend. How about the valley, folks? They'll see some clouds around in the morning. That'll keep them from getting not as hot, 82. And then Sunday, though, you'll feel it. I think the warmth will build in over the Southland. Then on Monday, it's just hot, sunny and hot. Isolated thunderstorms, mountains, and deserts coming in on Tuesday and Wednesday. More on Ike and our forecast coming up a little bit later. I'll see you then.
All right, Dallas. Well, how could a very expensive piece of jewelry change the lives of 13 women? It's the subject of a new book called The Necklace. The idea started right here in Southern California and ended with an experiment that the women will remember for the rest of their lives.
They are wives and mothers, friends and daughters, career women and activists. 13 very different people bound together by a single strand of diamonds. Their story began 4 years ago in a Ventura, California mall when Janelle McClain was walking by a jewelry store window, a dazzling diamond necklace catching her eye and sparking an idea.
When I went into the store and the price was there, I saw the context of what could make a difference in the world. I was interested in if there's enough to go around the planet and everybody shares, how could that look? What does it mean if people share things like that? And what is this experiment going to teach us about sharing?
So Janelle started making calls, pitching her idea to friends until enough women said yes to jointly buying the necklace.
I was in a point in my life where I was redesigning my future. It was just the perfect thing to do.
But there was a major roadblock, the $37,000 price tag. But luckily, the women found an ally in store owner Tom Van Gundy.
I said, well, we can do this price, Janelle, but if you make my wife part of the group. And it's like a done deal.
Cutting a deal, the women paid $15,000 for the necklace, agreeing each would wear it for a month at a time. They started setting up monthly meetings to drum up fundraising ideas, wanting to use the necklace for much more than adornment, but to also raise money for community causes. They even picked a name, Julia, after French chef Julia Child. But wearing Julia came with big responsibilities and interesting rules.
Julia had to go to Paris if anybody was going to Paris.
And just how do 13 women get the men in their lives to agree to buying a diamond necklace? With rule number 2, bring passion back to the bedroom by wearing Julia, and only Julia, for your husband.
It was kind of stupid, but anyway, but it just happened to work because we had husbands that actually bought into the idea.
The necklace also brought personal transformations, touching all their lives in new and surprising ways.
In my life, I've really not had tremendous support systems among women, and this group has provided me with a whole new foundation.
In the 4 years the women have owned Julia, she has been skydiving and golfing, traveled to Paris, and raised thousands of dollars for charity, all made possible by 13 women who came together for an experiment in sharing that ultimately lead them to finding their own individual voices.
Isn't that amazing? You can go to the mall, get an idea, and suddenly it turns into a book 4 years later.
Yeah.
Pretty
awesome.
neat story.
Yeah. All
Good
right.
job, ladies.
Good story. If you have a child that drinks baby formula, we have a warning for you.
There's a recall out today about a product from China. What you need to know is coming up next.
Also still ahead, an amazing discovery about monkeys. Find out an important life lesson humans can learn from them.
It's time to get ready for fall during the Shop Till You Drive clearance event at your Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep dealers. We're taking up to 40% off MSRP on 08 Rams to make room for new arrivals. Get great markdowns in every department, like up to 22% off MSRP on our fashionable minivans. And check out our great selection of fuel-efficient vehicles. Find your perfect fit at the Shop Till You Drive clearance event. Hurry, these offers won't last.
Here at the phone company, you've been our customer for a long time. Now Vonage wants to change all that.
Well, over 2 million people have already joined Vonage.
Oh, really? Don't they miss having phone service?
Actually, with Vonage, you get award-winning service quality with unlimited local and long-distance calls, all for just $24.99 a month. Are you having trouble keeping track of what your phone company is charging? With Vonage, your rate starts low and stays low. Don't take my word for it. Listen to his former customers.
For me, Vonage is everything I want in a phone service.
It's dependable. It's perfect.
No nickels and dimes like the phone company.
Make the most from your existing high-speed internet connection. Get unlimited local and long-distance calling for only $24.99 a month, plus 25 features for no extra charge. Sign up now and get 1 month free.
Okay, but making a change is hard, and for over 100 years, the only thing we've changed is...
Your prices?
Whoa! Call 1-800-398-2191 or go online to Vonage.com.
You ballet, right?
No, you just walk to your bumper car?
Walk? Ew! Where's the rear view?
Oh my god, she like totally hit us!
Duh, Ashley, it's called road rage! I am trying to do my mascara!
I can't text to this thing!
It's just what LA needs. The LA County Fair. Save on admission and carnival wristbands at AT&T stores.
That's like fighting for parking on Rodeo.
Appaloosa is becoming a ghost town.
Dragonist men have got us all running scared. This fall, I'm a new city marshal. You're a dead man. 2 lawmen
Are either of you afraid?
will become legends. You afraid to die?
I ain't afraid.
Good, because you go first. Viggo Mortensen, Ed Harris, Renee Zellweger, Jeremy Irons.
How long have you been killing people?
I don't kill people. I enforce the law. Appaloosa. Rated R. Starts Friday, September 19th at specially selected theaters.
A mysterious illness has sickened 9 elementary school students in Washington state. The kindergarten students are all in the same class in KABC. Reportedly, they have fevers and body aches. There's also an unconfirmed report that one of the children has been hospitalized. The Clark County Public Health Department is investigating. Parents want officials to get to the bottom of this.
We'll take her to school tomorrow, maybe ask some questions tomorrow when we drop her off. But other than that, I don't know if there's anything I can do.
And doctors can't seem to pinpoint a cause, but school officials say whenever you have a bunch of people in the same place for long periods of time, there is more risk, of course, of spreading infections.
A warning to parents today to avoid milk powder from China. The dairy producer has ordered a recall of 700 tons of the product, and China's health ministry is investigating. Government officials say tainted powder is linked to a rash of kidney stones in infants and at least 1 death in China. In the U.S., the FDA is warning people to avoid all Chinese infant formula. The powder is actually illegal in the U.S., but officials warn it may still be on sale at some markets.
Millions of people are waiting and worrying in Texas.
Hurricane Ike is taking aim on the Lone Star State, and we'll have up-to-the-minute information for you coming up next in a live report.
And videotapes are played today in the sex crimes case involving a celebrity fashion designer. A live report is next.
Some disco kings are celebrating their new star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I'm George Pinocchio. That's in today's Hollywood Wrap. Plus this.
Yeah, you can't choose your family, but you can certainly choose your friends.
Sibling rivalry preys on longtime friendships in Tyler Perry's latest faith and family themed movie. What the writer-director says about his all-star cast, coming up.
Look at me. You're gonna be okay. Do you understand me? Guys, where are we?
Lost premieres Saturday at 12:35 on ABC 7.
Sure, you could pay that crazy boutique price or get the same bag right now at TJ Maxx for up to half off. How? Simple. A designer makes oodles of studded suede bags, but the boutiques of the world can only buy so many. And TJ Maxx absolutely loves those bags, so they strike up a deal for the rest. And that's how you can get the same bag as in boutiques right now, but for up to 50% less. When we score, you score. TJ Maxx.
Hi, I'm John Gregory with ABC7 Eyewitness News, bringing you a special Latino Heritage Month 7-day planner. September 12th is the deadline for submissions to the City of LA's Celebrating a Mosaic of Cultures poster contest. September 17th is the deadline for students grades 6 through 12 to enter the City of LA's Creative Writing Contest. And September 20th, listen and enjoy the Symphonic Orchestra of Michoacan perform at Veterans Park. For more information on Latino Heritage Month events, visit us online at abc7.com.
Sleep is the key to better health, and great sleep starts with the right mattress. Here at Living Spaces, we have the lowest prices on the best brands, including Sealy, Simmons, Serta, Circadian, Renew, and the entire line of Tempur-Pedic products. Our queen mattress sets start at just $295. So let us help you find the mattress that meets your specific comfort needs. Right here at Living Spaces, where you can buy it today and sleep on it tonight.
Living Spaces. Online sex predators help us change the law. Monday's Oprah.
Live from ABC7, Eyewitness News in high definition continues.
A powerful storm surge pounds the coastline as Hurricane Ike bears down on the Texas Gulf Coast near Galveston, and the entire city of Houston could take a direct hit. Welcome back to David Ono.
I'm Ellen Leva. This is Eyewitness News at 4:30. Hurricane Ike is described as almost as large as the entire state of Texas. Here's a live look at a radar now as the fury of Ike advances toward the coast of Texas. Reporter Sandra Endo is live in Houston, the nation's fourth largest city, which could get slammed by Ike this weekend. Sandra?
Well, that's exactly right, David and Ellen. We're here in Houston where people are hunkering down, actually, bracing for the storm, but the wind gusts are picking up. You can see these pretty sturdy trees are pretty still right now, but take a look over here. You can see more of the flexible trees already blowing in the wind right here. And also, a lot of people have left this city. Actually, it's a busy Friday night usually, but today it's pretty empty in the downtown area. Right now, getting slammed is the coast of Texas, Galveston Island, and the worst is yet to come.
Crashing waves and sprays of surf. Long before landfall, Hurricane Ike began engulfing Galveston Island on the coast of Texas, where the National Weather Center said people who didn't evacuate their homes would face certain death.
I am deeply concerned about Hurricane Ike. It is a major storm headed toward a large population center.
The bigger target lies an hour inland. Houston, the nation's fourth largest city, is in Ike's track. Over the past couple of days, more than 1 million residents have evacuated their homes. Bracing for a beating, many of them boarded up before heading to safer ground. This couple left their new beachfront home with their dogs to seek shelter in a Houston hotel.
It's a lot of work securing everything around the house, all the things outside that you have to put up, and the windows and things, and then you just leave and hope for the best.
Hotel housekeeper Michelle Jackson dodged Hurricane Katrina, fleeing New Orleans for Texas. For Ike, she says she's staying put.
I can't run no more. I'm rained out. Katrina really did it to me and my kid.
Now, Texans aren't the only ones feeling the effects of Hurricane Ike. People in southern Louisiana and Mississippi are also under a tornado watch and will also be getting a downpour. Live in Houston, I'm Sandra Endo. David and Ellen, back to you.
Sandra, thank you. And stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of Hurricane Ike. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda is riding out the storm in Texas. Look for his live reports on Eyewitness News at 5, 6, and 11.
Opening statements got underway today in the trial of fashion designer Anand John Alexander. He's charged with 25 sex-related crimes, and many of the alleged victims were teenage girls and young women. Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia was in the courtroom today and joins us live from the downtown LA courthouse with more. Sid?
In fact, David, most of the victims in this case are underage girls. The defense team
told the jury today that when it came to Anand John Alexander, these girls wanted to be a part of his high-end fashion world and his celebrity world. The prosecution, on the other hand, told the jury that Anand John Alexander used his status and the internet to prey on young girls. Fashion designer Anand John Alexander, who remains in custody, was dressed in a suit and tie as prosecutor Francis Young told the jury the 34-year-old defendant was a serial rapist who loves three things: young girls, to humiliate them, and to perform painful sexual acts with them. Alexander and his team of lawyers listened and watched as the prosecution played, in part of her opening statements, videos of two girls, a 17 and 15-year-old, who were disrobing at his Beverly Hills apartment. Alexander is facing more than 24 counts of forcible rape, lewd acts upon a child, and sexual battery. Alexander reportedly has designed dresses for a number of celebrities, including Paris Hilton and singer Mary J. Blige. Actress Marla Maples was in court this morning, holding Alexander's mother's hand, showing her support for the designer. There are 9 alleged victims in this case, ranging in age from 14 to 21. Their story is similar, according to the prosecution. Alexander would fly them in with promises of work, and then when he got the girls to his Beverly Hills studio apartment, attack them. In his opening statement, defense attorney Leonard Levine told the jury that the girls wanted to be a part of Alexander's world, the world of celebrity and fashion. He pointed out to them, how did the girls act afterwards? Did they act consistently with the crime being committed? No crimes were committed, he pointed out, because Alexander continued to stay in contact with them and they continued to stay in touch with him. Why would you, Levine points out, would you want to stay in contact with someone who raped you? Now, if convicted on all counts, Alexander faces possibly spending the rest of his life behind bars. Alexander also faces similar charges in New York State, and he is also under investigation for similar allegations in Texas and Massachusetts. The trial, I should say, continues Monday afternoon with the first testimony. Reporting live from downtown LA, Sid Garcia, ABC-7 Eyewitness News.
Sid, thank you. A local doctor is under arrest for allegedly sexually assaulting 2 of his patients. Dr. Wazir Nadir was taken into custody yesterday and charged with sexual battery. Police say one of the alleged victims, a 20-year-old woman, was sexually assaulted during an examination last year, and a 53-year-old woman also came forward claiming she was sexually assaulted back in 2005. Police are looking for more potential victims in this case. If you have any information, call Whittier Police 562-945-8250.
All right, we have huge breaking news going on right now. This is a live picture from Air 7 HD in Chatsworth. We're getting word that 2 trains have collided. One of them, a Metrolink train that apparently had passengers aboard, in fact, quite a few. Let's start out now with Air 7 HD and Bill Thomas, who's overhead. Bill.
Yeah, just chaos over here. We're in Chatsworth right now, the northwest end of the San Fernando Valley. This is a Metrolink and a freight train that have somehow collided here. You can see that everything's burst into flames. Both trains have been derailed from the tracks. We're still trying to find out from firefighters just how many people have been injured, but it's going to take quite a while. You can see all the carnage here. I haven't seen anything this bad since that huge Atwater Village train crash we had from several years ago. There's the 3 trains right now from Metrolink on the right. On the left, there's the freight train, and you can see they've all just slammed together and been derailed. Firefighters are here right now. They're trying to douse the flames, and then in time, let's go to the right now. Let's go to the Amtrak, make that the Metrolink train. In time, firefighters will have to get on board each one of those trains. There's the first one, 2 more behind it. After they get the flames out, they'll have to go inside and check on everybody's status and try to get everybody out that needs rescuing as soon as possible. Again, we don't know how many people were on that Metrolink train or how the accident happened, but this will take quite a while for firefighters not only to douse the flames, but find out how many people have been injured, how seriously they've been injured, and then at one point they'll have to set up a bit of a triage here and treat everyone who's been injured. Once again, this is in the northwest end of the San Fernando Valley. This is on the Metrolink track right by Topanga Canyon, a little below the Ronald Reagan Freeway near the 118. This is a heavily populated residential area as well, so one of the things we're trying to figure out is if there's any toxic chemicals on board that freight train, and in time we may have to find out that the neighborhood here below where the train crash happened, there may be some evacuation. So let's go back to the flames there. That one's still bursting into flames. Haven't got the flames out just yet. And as soon as we find out more from firefighters, we'll get right back to you. For now, we'll keep the helicopter overhead. For the remainder of the afternoon, we'll keep you updated as frequently as possible.
Bill, get us oriented. You said, is this south of the 118?
Yeah, just south of the 118, this is where the trains actually go westbound right by, I believe that is Stony Point Park. This is in Chatsworth, and it's unclear why those two trains apparently were on the same track at the same time. You can see they have both collided. Firefighters right there just below the train wreck. Let's open up just a little bit and show you the flames once again. Not only has the Metrolink train been derailed, but several cars that were on that freight train, they've been derailed. One of those turned over as well on its side. A great deal of diesel fuel. Also, there may be chemicals on board a portion of the freight train that derailed. So firefighters doing all they can, keeping a reasonably safe distance away from the flames, but doing all they can to get the fire out as quickly as possible. And you can see it looks like that one, the lead car on the Metrolink train, has just been ripped to shreds like a can opener. Tore the metal right off of it. So as quickly as they can, they'll get inside, rescue as many people as they can, as quickly as they can. And as soon as we get an update on the condition of all those passengers, we'll get that to you as soon as possible from Air 7 HD.
All right, let's get some bearing here. If you could pull out of the shot right now, if we understand correctly, that's a freight train on the left-hand side. You can see how the cars have basically accordioned off the track. That's an indication of the impact of these trains that they had. It ran head-on into this Metrolink train. I don't see a triage area set up right now, Bill. I'm sure they're setting up one as we speak, but I'd imagine there are a number of ambulances there and on the way. And just from what you just said, there are still people on the train. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can see the lead car on the Metrolink train, the one that overturned, still burst into flames right now. Firefighters trying to douse the flames there. We're not sure if there are on board that car right there. The two trains behind it, looks like there are people. We'll go to our right here just a little bit. Let's go to our right. Those are the other two Metrolink trains. And it looks like firefighters, let's push in now. Firefighters inside, trying to get as many people out as quickly as they can. Off to you did see a city fire rescue helicopter that has landed on the ground. It may be necessary to have some people airlifted from the area. That's just one helicopter so far. There may be more inbound. And as far as that triage situation, David, Stony Point Park is very nearby, and that may be a part of Stony Point Park, and that'll be an ideal place for firefighters to congregate, set up their command post, and a triage facility as well to treat all those people who were injured. So there's the two Metrolink trains that didn't derail. People are being brought out of that one. Looks like somebody looking inside to see if they can see somebody. Let's go back to the one train. One person on the ground looks like being treated by firefighters in just a moment, and there's some more people coming off of this car as well. Let's go back to our left here. We'll see that one that's still in flames, I believe. That looks like the lead car or the engine car. You can still see some flames down there, and actually at our altitude at 2,500 feet, you can smell and the rubber and all the materials involved in that accident burning right now. And you can imagine what it must be like for firefighters on the ground trying to fight those flames. A little bit of wind as well. And there's the freight train off to our left, some flames on that one as well. Kind of hard to see through all that thick black smoke, but looks like not only the metro train that is burning, but one of the freight cars burning as well. Firefighters putting as much water on it as quickly as they can. And David, as you mentioned, not only are firefighters here, but more are being called. More resources from all around the city and perhaps from Los Angeles County are being brought in to assist with this just horrific accident. And again, we haven't seen any accident this bad in terms of trains here in Southern California since that huge Atwater Village accident we saw a few years ago.
Right. I'm concerned, Bill, what about access to this area? It looks pretty like the terrain is pretty rough, and I'm wondering if ambulances might have a tough time getting there. You said you see the helicopter there, but I don't see a triage unit set up just yet, and I don't see a lot of ambulances yet either.
Yeah, not a great deal of rescue ambulances here just yet. There's that one helicopter maneuvering on the ground next to where the accident happened. There are a few firefighters. Looks like there may be a hazmat hazmat teams may be here as well, right there on the right side. That may be a hazmat truck. There are paramedics here. There are more coming in. On Topanga Canyon right now, we see a great deal of police activity. They're probably trying to help with firefighters to get access to the train crash. And this is right where, if you know the area here, let's go to our left here, Trace. You'll see a tunnel. This may have been a factor in the train crash. It's hard to tell which train was going which way, but off to our left, there's the tunnel, and that's where it makes that transition from Los Angeles County into Ventura County, and it may be a situation where both trains just didn't see each other coming, and I believe the tracks are actually switched remotely from a remote location, so it's unclear exactly how that accident happened, but there will be a huge investigation to figure that out, and it looks like firefighters are making a great deal of progress on dousing the flames, at least on the Metrolink side, but you can see that freighter, the freight train that overturned, still a great deal of fire going on there, and firefighters will continue to battle those blazes.
Bill,
there may be somebody, maybe somebody there on the lower left side, right by where the firefighter is, and it looks like firefighters are actually sitting on top of the Metrolink train, and they're trying to look inside to see if anybody needs rescuing right now. Hopefully people had a chance when the accident happened to get out on their own, but somebody will still need to be rescued.
Right, Bill, we're seeing
and we're looking for one more victim in all the wreckage. Right, firefighters right here on the ground. Looks like somebody is on the ground being treated by firefighters. Unclear if that's a Metrolink passenger and he's being treated right now. Yeah, okay, apparently he's been burned. Looks like some blood there as well. Looks to be in pretty rough shape, but firefighters doing all they can to tend to that one victim, and we can guarantee there's going to be plenty more as the afternoon progresses. Now, it is a little bit difficult, David, as you said, to get to, but we are watching some access roads to come into where the train wreck happened. We usually see a couple of more fire engines here, and more paramedic ambulances are on the way, so it shouldn't be too difficult as firefighters call in their additional resources. I see some more medics coming in right now, and they'll have some additional resources coming in just moments. David?
Well, Bill, as you were making your way there, you made it there very quickly. The 118 freeway, did you happen to notice how slow is that traffic moving there on the 118?
Traffic is not impacted right now on the 118. The 118 is about a quarter of a mile north of where this train accident happened, and it's not impacting the 118 at all. There may be some smoke that people will see from the 118, but not impacting the 118 at all. We do hear now that somebody is actually inside that Metrolink train right now calling out for help from firefighters, and a real precarious situation, almost chaos on the ground. You can see people running, people trying to get in here to help with the rescue effort, but with a train car that is actually overturned, you can imagine how difficult it is for firefighters to make access into that car and rescue as many people as quickly as possible. Also keeping in mind there's still a great fire here that firefighters are trying to douse. Can't tell how many people are inside, but there are a number of firefighters on the ground, and they'll continue that rescue effort here for the remainder of the afternoon.
We've seen a lot of paramedics trying to break that glass very carefully, a precarious situation there to get to those passengers, and no telling how many passengers were in that front train. We don't have that information. Of course, our staff is contacting Metrolink to find out any information we can regarding the number of passengers on that.
Also, let's point out that we do have a number of crews on our way to the scene. We scrambled them as soon as we got word that this accident had occurred. We hope that they are going to get there shortly, and of course we'll get more information from the ground when they do get there. In the meantime, we're trying to gather as much info as we can through our desk, and there's a lot of concern that there may have been a number of people on this train when this collided. Of course, it is Friday afternoon rush hour, so the likelihood of people trying to get home for the weekend is a great one. That there were some people, or at least a number of people on that train. And as you can see, firefighters are finally able to get in there now that the fire is out, and start assessing the situation. So right now, we're very limited in the amount of information we have, but logic would tell you there are going to be a number of injuries, probably serious injuries at that.
And by the look of that impact, that you could imagine that the force of that impact to set that train, to derail it, set it on its side like that. And we're getting more information right now. Fire crews on the scene are estimating that about 23 people have been injured on this train. That is preliminary reports. We are not certain of that, but that is initial estimates. The 23 people on board that first train there.
These are live pictures coming to you from Air 7 HD. That's a rescue effort going on in the lead train that went head-on into a freight train. As Bill Thomas mentioned, they hit head-on. No idea how this could have happened, how both trains got directed onto the same track heading towards each other, but they did collide. The impact was huge. The freight train carrying some sort of barrels, that accordioned, and a number of those cars are now jammed just a few feet from the camera now is panning towards that area. That's the beginning of the freight train. And there you see how those cars have jammed up against themselves. This all happened basically in the back of the neighborhood. There are some homes there to the bottom of your screen. And we're trying to gather as much information and perhaps get some of their perspective as well. There's a better look of this neighborhood, and there's a field there where you see a helicopter that's been brought in for any immediate needs as they continue to try to set up a triage area and get more ambulances to this area.
You're looking right there. This is just south of the 118, near Rinaldi, just west of Canoga, to get your bearings so you can understand where we are looking.
This occurred just a few minutes ago, and it's still unclear as to how badly, how bad this accident is, but it looks pretty bad. They just got one person off the train. No, yes. Oh, that doesn't look good. That's a fireman carrying a victim over his shoulder. He just pulled her out of that lead car. So obviously we are in the middle of this rescue effort going on right now, and a number of things could happen. It looks like she is moving. They're trying to bring him. As you could see, there are a number of victims here. They're kind of lining them up. It's still early, so they don't have a legitimate triage center set up just yet. They're trying to get some ambulances in and do just that. but it is so early in this accident that all they can do is try to gather all the injured and put them in one space right now while they can get more emergency officials here.
That's a good sign there.
A good sign.
And the gentleman right there.
Keep in mind, they pulled her out of that
face.
lead car, so the impact that car had, that was the one that was on fire. It's lying on its side and is literally ripped open. The metal is ripped open on this car. Bill, any observations, anything you could see right now?
Just pandemonium, and it's a real battle here for firefighters. Here's some good news right there where the lead car, the Metrolink, and the freight train collided. Looks like a bulk of the flames have been knocked down. Still a concern for firefighters. There's obviously a great deal of fuel involved here that could flame up again, but for right now the flames have been at least temporarily knocked down. More and more firefighters, as you can see, pushing into that Metrolink train right now. They are trying to get to everybody as quickly as they can. As you mentioned a moment ago, nearly 23 people, as far as we can tell, have been injured, and as the afternoon progresses, that number could clearly go up. There are a number of firefighters here, dozens of firefighters, and most likely more on the way to treat as many people as they can. And a very precarious situation. You can see the train is actually derailed not only from the track, but its actual wheels are still on the track, and the train is overturned and separated, so that may be a little difficult for firefighters to gain entry into that train car. And there's going to be a great deal of debris inside, and you've already seen some people being pulled out of that Metrolink car, and more may be being pulled out as well. Not only from this side, but looks like on the other side they're trying to get through on the roof or perhaps the other side of the train. You can see the wreckage and the carnage. Very complicated to get inside, but they're doing all they can to rescue as many people as quickly as possible. There are two other Metrolink cars just behind this one, and more people were being brought out of there moments ago as well. So a number of people have been injured, and it looks like they kind of collided head on. This is right where the LA and Ventura County lines are very close to one another. There's a tunnel here off to our left, and it could be the case where the Metrolink was going one way and the other train was coming out of the tunnel. They might not have seen each other. And a reminder, I believe these trains are actually switched from a remote location. The actual conductors on the trains, they might not have as much control as they need, and there just wasn't enough time to brake quickly as possible, and that's why this accident perhaps has happened. There's another victim down on the ground right now. Firefighters trying to assess the exact condition of each patient here and then treat each one accordingly. Now, one LA City firefighter, a firefighting helicopter is already on the ground to assist with the rescue effort. That may be a hazmat team right there, and now we understand Los Angeles County will be participating in the rescue effort as well. AR-5, Air Rescue 5, that's that huge Sikorsky rescue helicopter. It's pretty much a floating paramedic ambulance, and they're going to be coming in to assist with the rescue effort as well. Some folks may have to be airlifted to a hospital, to a trauma hospital as quickly as possible, and we'll keep you updated on their progress here this afternoon as well. Again, Air 7 HD on top of this scene in Chatsworth. This is right by Topanga and a little below the Ronald Reagan Freeway where the train tracks go under a tunnel, and we'll keep you updated on the progress of firefighters throughout the afternoon.
All right, Bill, just to let you know and to let our viewers know that the LAPD has now called a Valley Tactical Alert. That basically means that none of the officers in the Valley area are allowed to go home. They're all going to stay on duty because who knows what kind of emergency help that this accident is going to need. It's one of the standard procedures when it comes to a major tragedy of this sort that the LAPD would do, and they've called a Valley-wide tactical alert so far.
You've seen how quickly they've responded. This train derailment accident happened at 4:25, about 20 minutes ago. And they've certainly gotten there very quickly. We've been watching these firefighters tried to make their way into that door that is also a tangled mess there. You could just see the mangled metal there, almost open like a can opener.
The area that we are focusing on is that opening. You see the firefighters on top of the car. The car is basically knocked over on its side. And that opening, they've already pulled one victim out from that opening, and obviously they're working on getting other people out. The car was on fire when we first got our pictures from this accident. They took care of that, and now they're able to get inside this train and trying to assess how many people are actually on it and how badly they're injured. Of course, they're looking for other ways in, as you can see that firefighter on the back end of the train. But right now, that opening is where they're getting people out so far, and as they continue to search for more resources.
And we are getting reports that they believe there are at least 10 critically injured people inside that derailed Metrolink train that we are watching right now. You saw the firefighter throw some stuff out. I think they're trying to get as much stuff out of the way so they can get to the people.
Can you imagine the debris inside of this? If the outside looks like this, and keep in mind the front end of that train is broken open, and that's what was on fire, but that is a huge mess up there where the collision occurred. So imagine that the further you go up towards the front of that train, the harder it's going to be to get to some of those victims. They're at the back end of that car. where they're already pulling some debris out.
And he looks like he's throwing some ceiling panels or perhaps wall panels from the train out, different windows.
And the back end of the train, which is actually the roof of the train, oh, they've got another victim out right over here. I think they've created an opening in the back end of that train, which is actually the roof of it, and they might be able to be pulling people out that way as well. And there you could see some of the carnage from this accident. You see victims strewn out all along this train, and the emergency officials that are there right now are trying to get as many people out as quickly as possible. It's so chaotic at this point that they don't even have the patients organized right now. All along this train, you can see the victims. All right, Bill Thomas, any new updates on emergency vehicles that might be arriving at the scene?
Yeah, one of the best emergency vehicles that can arrive on a situation like this is what we call Sheriff's Air Rescue 5, a huge Sikorsky rescue helicopter. It's essentially a floating air ambulance. They just landed on the ground. Now we have 3 helicopters on the ground right by where this train accident happened, 2 from Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, also Sheriff's Air Rescue 5, a county rescue helicopter.
We seem to have lost our picture temporarily, but we do have Captain Armando Hogan on the line from the LA City Fire Department, I believe. Is that correct, Captain
City
Hogan?
or County Fire Department? Captain Hogan, are you with us?
I believe we lost that phone call as well.
All right, we have the picture back at least. We're going to try to... Well, Captain Hogan, are you there? No, we don't have him. All right, we're going to try to get Captain Hogan on the phone with us. He could certainly get us some more information on what's going on out there, whatever he has, which probably is pretty limited as well, because these firefighters are working as fast as they can to get people off, and there's not a whole lot of time to just gather information, or I'm sure there's no real clearinghouse for information at this point.
And Bill, have you been able to see more ambulances, more help arriving?
Hello? Absolutely, one by one from the city of Los Angeles. More paramedics keep arriving.
Hey,
Bill, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I'm sorry, Bill. I think we have the captain on now. Captain Hogan, are you there? Oh, boy.
Oh, we had him for a moment. I'm sorry, Bill. Go ahead. We apologize.
Okay, very briefly, yeah, more resources are arriving, not only on the ground, but from the air as well. 2 rescue helicopters from the city of Los Angeles on the ground. Sheriff's Air Rescue 5, a sheriff rescue helicopter, has landed right next to the city of Los Angeles, next to their helicopters as well. There are some critical patients here, we understand. As you mentioned moments ago, nearly 10 patients are said to be in critical condition, and many of those may have to be airlifted to hospitals. So 3 helicopters on the ground awaiting those patients, and one by one, more and more patients being taken off that Metrolink train. We're not sure if anybody was aboard anybody who was on the freight train was injured, perhaps the conductor, any of the crew on the freight train. We are seeing a number of people still being pulled out of the wreckage of that overturned Metrolink train, brought down to the ground. Firefighters doing all they can to assess the injuries of each and every patient, and the ones who are most seriously injured being treated first, and those who will have to be airlifted. Those helicopters are standing by and waiting, and that airlift will happen most likely in the next several minutes. Additionally, more, as you mentioned, David, the city of Los Angeles is on now a tactical alert. All police officers who are on duty will remain on duty. If there are more resources need to be brought into this location here in Chatsworth, they'll be brought here. Looks like sheriff's deputies as well. So a huge response, and this will be going on for hours and hours. Fortunately, the fire has been knocked down. We're still trying to find out if anything toxic was on that freight train, because this did happen. This train derailment, this accident happened very close to a very populated area of Chatsworth. So far, no reports of any injuries to anybody in the neighborhood. No sign of any evacuations just yet. But more and more resources keep pouring in, and we'll keep you updated on the ground and from the air throughout the afternoon. David and Ellen.
Yeah, Bill, yeah, we were watching. They do have a second opening on that train right now. We just watched one victim being pulled out. That's literally the roof of that car that's been pushed over as we continue to watch the situation build here in Chatsworth. You've been listening to David Ono and Ellen Leyva covering breaking news and Eyewitness News at 4 o'clock. We're going to turn things over now to Michelle Tuzzi and Mark Brown for Eyewitness News at 5 o'clock.
Okay, David, Ellen, thanks very much. As we begin this 5 o'clock hour, we are covering a big breaking news story in Chatsworth in the San Fernando Valley. This near the LA and Ventura County line. The collision of a Metrolink passenger train with a freight train, and it is a very catastrophic crash, We're told that as many as 23 people have been injured, and 10 of those at least critically injured. Right now, as many as 3 helicopters are on the ground waiting to transport some of the most critically injured to nearby hospitals. And here we are now taking a look at the map of where this train collision happened. It happened just above a residential area in Chatsworth, south of the 118 freeway near Stony Point Park.
Yes, and Michelle, when you take into account the time that this occurred, at rush hour on a Friday afternoon, we don't yet know how many people were on board this Metrolink train, but it would be a situation in which you would expect that the passenger load would be pretty high on this time of day, on this day of the week. And you see firefighters now working feverishly to get people out. There's one on the top there knocking a window out of this Metrolink rail car.